ایشون میگه چرا میگن من دیکتاتور هستم؟ من نگفتم شما دیکتاتور هستین، ولی این روش قطعا به دیکتاتوری به اصطلاح میانجامه.
Take a very good look at this cool, calm man. Mir Hossein Mousavi is a former Iranian prime minister between 1981 and 1989. This means during the Iran-Iraq war. He was an advisor to former President Khatami of Dialogue of Civilizations fame. He's an architect, an abstract painter, a former newspaper editor, and a very good manager.
Mousavi has considerable respect among Iranians who remember the Iraq War for his handling of the wartime economy when he was under immense pressure to ensure a fair distribution of goods during a critical period.
Now, he has a shot at winning the most important election in the 30 years of the Islamic Revolution. Tehran rocks! 23 million Iranians are internet surfers. That's 30% of the people in a very young country, where 60% are less than 30 years old. President Ahmadinejad, well, he has his personal blog, with a lot of usually angry American entries. His campaign videos are on YouTube. Here he is, denouncing Zionism.
صهیونیسم جهانی مظهر تمام عیار نژاد پرستی است.
But this does not compare with green power. Iranians on Facebook, they decided to go green. Psychedelic green. The color of Islam and the color of Mousavi. A happy accident? Well, this story in the Iranian reformist paper Etemad explains the color scheme. It's about the order in which the presidential candidates went on TV.
سپس نماینده میر حسین موسوی، نماینده محمود احمدی نژاد.
Mousavi drew green, and Ahmadinejad, he drew red. Iran's green revolution has been driven by an ultra-energized, tech-savvy, and very young grassroots base, crisscrossing absolutely everything: urban and rural, rich and poor, ethnic minorities, the women vote, and even the hardcore Basij youth militias. Mousavi is on YouTube, of course. And Iran's election is also about red states and blue states. Red states, rather, the poor provinces, they go red, Ahmadinejad's color. Blue states, where the big cities are, Tehran, Shiraz, Tabriz, Isfahan, they go green, Mousavi's color. Those boycotting the election, they go blue. That's crucial. This is an election that will be decided above all by non-voters. Mousavi, anyway, is the sound of the new generation. The techno beat, of course, is not Ayatollah sanctioned. It comes courtesy of the Iranian diaspora. The party in Iran goes on amid the usual Western corporate media hysteria over an Iran about to go nuclear. And Islamophobes, Likudniks, and assorted neocons all voting, of course, for Ahmadinejad. Some progressives in the West, they might even agree with Ahmadinejad's critique of Western liberal democracy. But in the presidential debates, he was totally paranoid, accusing two former presidents, Rafsanjani and Khatami, of plotting against him.
باور من اینه که امروز آقای موسوی در برابر من نیست. تنها آقای موسوی نیست، بلکه سه دولت پی در پی در برابر بنده قرار گرفتن. هم آقای موسوی است، هم آقای هاشمی است، هم آقای خاتمی.
But because he's the current president, Ahmadinejad still had more TV time, and he was all over the place in the Iranian provinces. Mousavi is definitely synonymous with girl power. They are young, they are educated, they love their makeup, and they make the clerics tremble with fear. They are branded as evil feminists. Their role model is none other than Zara Ranavard, Mousavi's wife, 61 years old, a political scientist, sculptor. She had to tell the world's media that she's not Iran's Michelle Obama.
I hope freedom of speech, freedom of the pen, and freedom of thought will not be forgotten.
The most important reason that I'm working for Mr. Mousavi is his wife. I'm really angry about the position of here in Iran as a woman.
Attention! Mousavi is not a super reformist. He's a pragmatic, moderate conservative. He's an Azeri, he's not a Persian. Of course, if he's come so far, that's because the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, who, by the way, is also Azeri, let him. Or is it? As this political blog points out, it's important to remember that the father of the revolution, Ayatollah Khomeini, in the 1980s, used Mousavi as prime minister to control Khamenei when Khamenei was president. Now there are no more prime ministers. Khamenei abolished the post. The supreme leader has already voted when he said, and I quote, "Those who in the presidential debate claimed Iran has lost its standing among other countries in the world under Ahmadinejad are wrong." Any resemblance in all this to the US-supported color revolutions in Eurasia? No way. Mousavi's campaign director has said, and I quote, "Our symbol represents Islam and not velvet." That's a very subtle reference to the 1989 Velvet Revolution in the former Czechoslovakia, of course. And it gets better. In this official clip, the Mousavi campaign even used a famous song of the revolutionary left, those who were fighting the US puppet, the Shah of Iran, during the 1970s. Would Mousavi in power be a game changer? Oh yeah. He wants a national mandate, smart diplomacy, a détente with the West. The nuclear program stays. The Bushehr nuclear plant, built by the Russians, starts operating in September. With Mousavi in power, it would be very difficult to brand Iran as radical or rogue. The anti-Iran coalition at Washington, from Bush to Obama, once in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, the Gulf petromonarchies, is left naked. What do they fear, these dictatorships? They fear Iran's brand of Islamic democracy. They fear something like the Green Revolution taking place in the streets of Cairo, Riyadh, or Dubai. Well, the fight will be very hard. Employees of the Interior Ministry in Iran, which supervises the election, they have warned that ultra-reactionary Ayatollah Mesbah Yazdi, Ahmadinejad's spiritual mentor, he has issued a fatwa to turn the vote upside down. Here's the fatwa in Farsi as well. And the regime, of course, they can always use the young and armed Basij militias, the new generation of the revolution, to intimidate voters before the second round of voting. The plot thickens. Ahmadinejad may have lost the support of the Republican Guards, according to insistent rumors all over Tehran. And a secret poll suggesting Mousavi will win the first round by a landslide. It may actually be true. Ahmadinejad has been blasted by his incompetence in economics, his appalling foreign policy, and the lack of civil liberties in Iran. But he's never more dangerous when he was lying about inflation and unemployment in the Iranian TV debates, always with a straight face, a face poor people in Iran identify like, I quote, one of us. But Ahmadinejad, in the end, he may well be defeated by an electronic intifada. This Vancouver Film School video got it absolutely right. Fight the power with green power.
Iranian blogs are the true voice of the next generation. They are nothing less than a revolution within the revolution.